G'day, this is Chris. Welcome back to the shed. Welcome to Flat Tank Journey. This is part 2 of my video on the rear stand that I never really intended to be a 2-part thing. I didn't set out to make it this way. Just when editing the first part, there's just too much footage, like 60 clips or something to go into it. Here's part 2. Better to break it up into 2 separate videos. I shot all this and got it together. I hope you like the stand and the final outcome as much as I do. Hit the like button or send me a comment if you do. Cheers. Another new day in the shed, and I forgot to do some footage yesterday. Here's the stand, and the bike's on its stand. Now it's up a bit high, don't stress. I did weld in the cross piece, and as a welder, the flap disc is my friend. So, it looks okay. Not brilliant, but, it'll do. It'll do the job. And then I've just been thinking about, well, how high do I want this? Now, the legs are obviously too high. So I cheated and used one of my V-blocks to transfer the straight line off the bike lift to a new height on the stand. I'm now going to take the stand off and cut it to that length and see if we can get this right. No sharp edges, and it looks pretty good. It looks like one side's slightly lower than the other, or maybe the bar's not perfectly straight. Back on the bike. I'm actually thinking that it's somewhere there. Actually looks a bit crooked now. Maybe it's where I'm standing. Or maybe it's that the bike's crooked. Bike's crooked. I'm actually thinking somewhere there. I can pull it further forward, but I'm not sure. The feet are sitting flat on the ground. Now I need to think about making this angle piece that rests here on the front and welds to the back of there. Let me play with that for a while. Little angle brackets are kind of working out better than I expected. So I had some 6mm by 50mm left over from, I think it was the torpedo project. Always buy too much. And I cut myself a 50mm square. And this is what's left of the 50mm square. I've made myself a pattern for the second one. Come back down to the bike and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Here's what I did. I offered the square of steel up to the bike and I scribed a line down this side and I scribed a line down this side. That let me be able to cut the back off and create an angle for the front. Now, it's not super sophisticated and I feel like it could do with a little shape cut to it. And I might grind a little arc into it later. Now, I've got holes in it, or I've got marks for holes, to be more precise. I'm going to plug weld it from the back so that you can't see it. I hope it's going to be strong enough. I'm not a great welder, and I don't want to weld down this seam. I don't want to weld down this seam, because I'm not a great welder, and this seam, and it'd be ugly. So I'm going to drill like 8mm holes and give it a really, really solid plug weld. And we'll see how we go. Time to try and make the other one, I think. Flat battery. That is as hot as hell. Going to give that a cool down. Right, not going to bore you anymore. Going to step out of the line of that cord. I'm going to clean this up with the flap disc, and then we'll have a look at them on the bike and decide whether this whole plug weld thing's a goer or not. Here's the second one. First one's down on the bench, and that's fine. And here's the second one. Now, again, I'm not being overly sophisticated about this. I'm trying to get them in the same plane. I'm trying to get them in the same place. I'm going to have to move this one back because the angle's not quite right. But I don't look too bad. Then there'll be a tiny slither to take off. So I can put holes in here. And plug weld. What do you think? I don't think I'll give you a close-up before I do it in case it all goes wrong. So, little engineer's clamp, or I think that's what they're called, machinist clamp. And you can see the holes, and you can see the bracket, or the stop, or the stay, or I don't know what we're calling it. And you can see the holes. Down, you can see that they're actually fairly substantial pieces of kit. This one pulls away a little bit, and that's kind of frustrating me. But nonetheless, this one is pretty good on the right-hand side. Of course, this could be bent. I'm hoping it'll draw in as I dab some weld on it. Or not dab, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to zap it really hard and fill the hole and hope that we get good penetration. I think it should be okay. If it's not, I'm going to get these welded up. I'm not going to do it myself because I'll be too disappointed. Well, I survived, but only just. I'll put the welder away until the next time I want to traumatise myself. I hate welding. I'm not good at it. I try really hard, but I'm not great. I did manage to burn myself, you'll be pleased to know, or shocked to know, or something. Don't touch hot steel. Nonetheless, I have got these on, and I have cleaned them up with the front disc back of them. One of them did fall off after the first attempt, and maybe you'll see that in the footage, or maybe I'll edit it out, I'm not sure. It was the first hole, so I drilled the whole thing out, and then started by working in the middle of the hole and working my way out, so that I had heat and penetration, heat into the lead. The others come up really well, and I'm not unhappy with them, so to speak. I have let them cool, dressed them with the grinder at the back of them, because, you know, it was a pop. You know what I'm well like. And I've given them a side beating with a hammer to see if they would, just looking a bit dirt in my face, to see if they would give, and they wouldn't. So I'm hoping that my weld testing also known as beating with a big hammer, stands me in good stead. And I'm hoping that when I tighten all this up, and this is the first time, I didn't cheat this time, that everything will fit. Now these bolts are still a bit long, and that's okay for now. I will shorten them at some stage and make holes for split pins. Didn't think of that. So here's the first issue. Stand now doesn't go high enough because this piece hits on there. Didn't think of that. Sort of begs the question whether this other stand was ever going to fit, because the design doesn't fit. Rightio. Well, there's an interesting conundrum. Steel needs cut out. Didn't think of it. Let me get a marker pen and start marking out, and then I can start hacking away. Well, so I'm not super devastated here. Oddly enough, it's just, unlike me, it could only need the corner nipped off, so that it'll go in further. May not need to go far. Wow. I'm not going to bore you with this, but I'll bring you back every time that I try it. I'm just going to nip a bit off, and I might have got lucky here with the plug holes, because it's only the plugs that are wet, not the whole thing. So I can actually get the grinder and cut a little bit off and let the corner go back into the drop out of the frame. Interesting. Just a little bit of up close and personal. So you can see my welds, and I'm disappointed that I show you that, but you can see what I've had to cut off the back of the stand. And it's not much. And I hope, a bit of welding goober there. I'm hoping that you think it's dressed up all right. I think I'm going to put a little bit of filler in those marks because I don't like them. And I'm hoping this will work. I'm hoping you think I've done a good job, because I'm pretty pleased. I don't know how many times I've had portions or parts of this on and off over the last 3 days. But to get to this point, I have to say, I'm relatively pleased. Will it work? Well, I don't know. Will it work long term with the brake arm and everything else? Not really sure. Let's get it up on its stand and compare it to its brother and close out this episode, eh? There you go. There it is. I think it looks right. Bit high maybe, hard to say, but it looks about right. Of course, you fix one problem, you create another. There's something wrong here with my brake rod, and it doesn't clear by a hair, by about, a quarter of an inch. Now, the washer's very big. It's actually like 2.5 washers down here. So I could try a regular washer, and I could shave the nut or the top of the bolt as it actually is. I'm not going to bore you with that. I will get this thing to fit one way or another. Other than that, the stand looks good. The stand sits straight, and, the bike's at the right angle. I'm going to say it's possibly the best one I've made. This would be, I think it's the third or the fourth that I've made, and I'm not unhappy with it. It looks better. It's got nice shape to it. The D shape or the oval shape or whatever you want to call the half round has come up well. Well, that's Flat Tank Journey for another week. It's actually been sort of 3 days on and off. I've probably got 10 or 12 hours in it, let alone the head scratching and the thinking time. I'm bruised, I'm battered, I'm burnt. Not badly, don't stress. I'll learn my lesson one day. I think it's good. My only issue is the plug welding. Will the plug welding hold? I may get a friend to weld the tops and the bottoms of these up. For now though, I'm really, really pleased. I actually did it. It actually worked. Truth be told, this wasn't going to work because of the square bit at the top. It was going to grab eventually if this is the right size. So it just shows maybe this is right, maybe it's not. I certainly think this has been fabricated now. The more I look at it, the more I realise this was somebody's attempt to make a stand and it didn't work, or it was from something else. Anyway, I've copied it and I'm really happy with the way it looks. I actually think mine looks a bit better. She's pretty, pardon me, it's a pretty heavy weight thing. It's got a lot of size to it, but I like it and I'm pretty happy with my efforts. I'm going to fiddle away at this, and I think the washer is the issue. Should it have had a washer to begin with? Don't know. I'm going to pull the washer, screw it in further, cut the back off, drill a hole for a split pin. But that's all for another episode. It's all good. Hope you've had a good time. Hope you enjoyed seeing it. If you did, think about hitting the subscribe button, send me a comment, or click the little like thing. Makes me feel good. Cheers. Have a good one.